All right. So officially, I know Jorg's going to just get that camera sorted out, but tonight we're really excited. I mean, myself personally, like I said to you guys, this is, I think, of all the projects I reviewed, the second or third most detailed information package I've ever received from the team. And for me, it's really exciting to get to highlight this project that is really, outside of the scope of anything I think even myself I've ever heard of coming to the space. I know if you guys just listen to the chains that they're starting to launch on with their IDOs, you guys really will get a feel for they're trying to build something that's different. They're trying to really make an impact in the crypto and the DeFi space. So give you an idea about what Timpi is as a whole is just kind of high level overview, like I posted up in my post initially. It's the world's first completely decentralized search engine. Essentially, that's not going to store your data. So we've had a project on in the past, and I think it was, if you break down the costs, companies are able to sell and resell your data for over the course of your lifetime. It ends up being around like $150,000. Companies are able to capitalize or monetize based on your own personal data. So it's pretty crazy to think about that stat from a user's perspective and how much companies are benefiting off of us without giving us a proper return in place, right? So you guys are really tackling, in my opinion, an amazing niche, and to do it from a crypto project is pretty incredible. So in terms of dates or timelines, I mentioned the launch date right now is scheduled for around May 7th. You guys will be kicking off your IDO on Kadena on the 30th of March. And we'll be able to get in terms of the scope and what the contribution looks like on that. As Gareth mentioned, it's about a 15% discount from their second round, which will go live on April 30th on the Ethereum network. So you guys will be getting a nice little discount for adopting a new chain, jumping in early, helping this project grow. So at this point, I mean, there's so much detail I could get into, but I'm going to really, before I misstep or put my foot in my mouth here with some of the technical stuff, pass it over to the team. I'll let you guys introduce yourself and a bit about the project. But like I said, this one's pretty incredible, guys.
Yeah, I think do you want to kickstart us? Give us the background and how the original thoughts came to you for Timpi and the reason why, and then a bit about yourself, and then I'll follow. How does that sound?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Jörg, founder of Timpi, and my background is information security. So for 2 decades now, I'm an information security guy. A couple of years back, I founded and developed a cyber intelligence business that is called Darkscope. And for this cyber intelligence business, it was necessary to create a network of crawlers to go through internet, social media, but also the dark web to find information about customers and to warn them. So during this development, we had to create AI models ourselves, the whole application ourselves, and that was the moment when it sparked, and I thought about, okay, how about we have a decentralized search engine that does not rely on anyone like Google or Bing. It's completely independent, and it's basically run by the community, so decentralized. And that was the first moment I thought about Timpi. And then from there, I started working with Gareth, and we came together. Gareth and I now I think 4 or 5 years, something like that. And we started working on, okay, how would that look like? How could that look like? And it took shape, and we started developing last year. We already have the beta version. We have a couple of videos on our YouTube channel which shows where we're at right now. So we do not wait for the IDO to pass so we can start developing. We are already well into development, getting great feedback from the community about how it all looks. And we do have a lot of information out there, but it's basically my security background and the realization that there is a need for an alternative to Google, a real alternative, an independent alternative, was basically the trigger for me to look into creating Timpi.
Yeah, And I always add something onto the back of Jörg's commentary about his experience, because he's always coy and never likes telling people all the accolades that he's had in the past. But he's got multiple awards for his AI work, and particularly in Australasia, he's very well known and recognized as the #1 security expert in Australasia. He's also been involved in setting out the IT security regulations for Europe with the ISO 27001, I think it is. He was a main contributor of that. So yeah, he always undermines his work and accolades, but yeah, it's really great that he's able to bring that experience into this space. When we talk about security and in DeFi, well, the background here that Jörg's got, we're bringing a lot of security and reassurance into this space. My background is in business consulting and IT management. Before I've got involved in crypto, I've been in the crypto space for a couple of years. I was working primarily as an ERP consultant, which is enterprise resource planning. Really, that's involved. What's involved in that is looking at a business's operations and overlaying their operations and their goals into technology. And so I was doing that in the traditional business world for over 15 years. And now I'm essentially doing the same thing, but with this amazing opportunity that we have with Timpi, is taking a traditional business model for search engines, and we're overlaying that into blockchain technology. And that really allows us to do some quite special things and makes us quite unique in the market. One of the huge barriers for entry to the search engine market for anyone looking to compete with Google or Bing or DuckDuckGo or any of those other larger search engines has a huge cost of infrastructure if they're taking a centralized route, which of course every other search engine in the world is centralized. We are the only decentralized search engine in the world. What that enables us to do is to scale and ramp according to our demand. So we have a very initial low cost of infrastructure. And as we grow, we reward people for contributing to that infrastructure. And perhaps Jörg can take you more through how we do that later in some of the technical design. But having that unique position, as I said, enables us to be offer some pretty unique things in the market, which I think we can come on to probably.
So for me, obviously, a really important factor with the multiple chains being present here is how you guys are going to ensure price stability across the chains, and obviously what the plan is to bridge the two together, if at all. That was something that you guys are thinking about in the future, because sometimes what you'll see is a BSC and an ETH project being highly differentiated, and sometimes people load up on one, and then if a bridge comes into the other, if you are hoping to have like a bridge ability for future chains, and down the road, because you guys are building something pretty crazy, pretty long term here. So if you guys are hoping to have that bridge ability in the future, you obviously have to ensure that those two chains, the price stays somewhat close, so that as that occurs, there's not a huge opportunity for like essentially back end arbitrage, where you just buy the one chain, transfer it over, then sell for a gain, and at the end of the day, it doesn't benefit the project on either chain, and it's just a few individuals who take advantage of that. So, kind of what's the thought process there for future rollouts?
Yeah, so that's really handled through our utility. So if I talk a bit about the utility, perhaps I start introduce people into that, and then that kind of leads on to where our revenue, and then our revenue model will really facilitate any issues that we're going to see across arbitraging between the network. So the utility of the Timpi token is at the beginning, essentially for advertisers to pay for advertising and API licenses through our network and with Timpi. And so much like Google Ads, okay, so several of you are probably familiar with how the Google Ads work. They've got their keyword advertising, their pay-per-click advertising, which you see in the search results. And then you've also got their ad network and the adverts that you see on their websites. So companies and organizations will be buying Timpi to place adverts on keywords, on key search terms. And the pricing for that will be fixed per keyword. There's not going to be competition like Google has. They basically set up a bidding war on each keyword. It's going to be fixed, and people are going to be actually compete on the level of the chances of which they're shown by actually staking Timpi. But what this means is, because our price of advertising per keyword will be fixed, it's going to be the same. It's going to be fixed at US dollar. Okay, so the market is going to drive the value of the token across Ethereum and Kadena. So not the trading, if that makes sense. So if someone's come in and they want to buy adverts, maybe one day it'll be cheaper to buy it on Kadena, maybe the next day it'll be cheaper to buy on Ethereum. And as the advertising volume grows, then that's going to level out those prices between Ethereum and Kadena. Does that answer that question?
No, that was perfect. Sorry about that. I had some little feedback coming off my mic there. Yeah, like that was perfect to me. Just in terms of how you guys are going to roll it out, I think that's something super technical. And I guess I kind of want to walk it back a little bit, if that's okay, because like I said, first time hosting a project on this chain on the network, on our channel. So do you guys have those promotional videos, those educational tutorials that you guys are actively pushing throughout the community to ensure that people know where to go, know the process to buy, understand the conversion and everything like that? Because for me, that's super important. Like we're such a believer of education here on the channel. And I mean, even with the switch we've seen on our channel, we've been definitely making a few more plays on the Crow chain recently. And even myself, I've been researching different, because you know how they have those honeypot scanners and for BSC projects and ETH projects. Well, they don't really have a more common known one for Crow yet. So I actually did some research and found one, and had a couple channel members ask me, and I was like, listen, I haven't checked it out myself, so I can't be 100% certain how it works, but like this is one I've been sent through a contact. I heard it's good. Check it out. And then hopefully that's a good opportunity to like just further the channel's education. And the more you focus on that base knowledge, the more adoption will just grow over time, right? Because if people understand it, when pumps happen, they're not going to have to go through the entire learning process to jump in. They could hear about something happening, be like, oh crap, I missed this project, let me jump in. And then it's a much smoother process, and they don't feel that pressure to learn and then buy, or maybe not know what they're actually buying.
Yeah, Kadena is a fairly small network. They're fairly new, but for a new network, they've got a market cap of over $1 billion, so they've got a lot of backing. And but everyone on and building on Kadena is going through this journey. Okay, we're building out the ecosystem, and we're trying to educate people. But essentially, it's if you can imagine when you first jumped into Binance, certainly that was my first entry into crypto, and it's like, what is MetaMask, and how do I buy BNB? And you go through that process of adding the chain to the wallet, and it's a step-by-step process. So Kadena have those videos. KDLaunch itself has a video on how to buy KDL, as how to buy KDA and KDL. So let me just explain that a bit, why that's important, because as part of this first round, with KDLaunch, the only way you can get a guaranteed allocation is either through whitelist or if you purchase KDL and stake it. So if you're interested in what we're doing and you want to get a guaranteed allocation, you'll need to stake. Otherwise, after the guaranteed allocations are given out to the KDL stakers, then there is a fair distribution where anyone can purchase the remaining whatever's left of the IDO. But if you go to our website and scroll down to the bottom, I'm just showing it on the screen here, then there's lots of cool information here. This video at the bottom right is about how to purchase KDL, and that will take you through how to get onto the chain, guide you through which wallet you need to have, how to buy KDA, which is the Kadena native token, and then how to buy KDL. As I say, you don't need KDL to participate in our IDO, but that does give you a guaranteed allocation. And then also here on kdlaunch.com, there's lots of information about how to participate in the IDO and get involved. At the moment, it's a great opportunity to jump into Kadena. As I said, they've got a lot of backing, and if you're worried about crappy, scammy projects, well, there are none right now. Okay, it's actually a really great community there, and we all care very much about the crypto and decentralization. And there's really, it's an amazing space to work in. There's really zero shitty, scammy projects there at the moment. In fact, what's happened to date is that it's all being built out in terms of infrastructure is being built out. So the exchanges and the launch pads are there. Timpi is one of the first, or if not the first, to actually go through a use case for Kadena to go through IDO. So not only are we the world's first decentralized search engine, we're also the first use case for Kadena as well. There's a wealth of information on our website and KDL's website that you can go through. We're very happy to answer questions on our Telegram. Jörg and I are always there to help people through the process.
So, I mean, it's probably a pretty loaded question, but how'd you come up with the idea for Timpi? Like, I know your background, Jörg, but to translate what you've done previously into crypto, it's obviously something that's incredible, but it obviously takes like a ton of work to translate, just because the business world to the DeFi space, oh man, it's a jungle out here, right? So
yeah, it is. I mean, look, it's if you want to do something decentralized, there's the best way is actually blockchain, and then the jump to crypto is not that far off. So I have been working with blockchain itself for a long time now, from a security point of view and development point of view. I haven't been across the crypto market that much at that point. So, but it was for me, it was obvious that a search engine today which competes, or which aims to compete, or our plans is by end of 2023 we will basically be on the second place of the search engine market. So we want to beat Bing. To give you a little bit of insight, so Google has something around 92, depending on what numbers you look at, 92% of market share. And then we have Bing on second place, which is around 4 to 5% market share. So there's a huge gap between Google and Bing even. So we want to, and we know the index size, for example. So the index, that's the database which reflects the content of the internet. The index size, and the index is also the most important bit for a search engine. I mean, there are search engines that call themselves search engines, but they don't have their own index, so they rely on something like Google or Bing. If we look at DuckDuckGo, for example, DuckDuckGo relies heavily on other sources. If we look at pre-search relies heavily on other sources. So they are correlating information, but they are not independent. So for Timpi, it was clear from the beginning, we want to have our own index. We want to be independent from likes Google and Bing and anyone else. So index size, we're looking at, with Bing, we're looking at around 5 billion websites. So that's the size what they have in their database, and we want to beat that by end of 2023. And we already do performance testing with our application, but I think we will come to the application or to the solution itself. Anyways, so it wasn't a fast step going from knowing we need to use blockchain into then going into we need to use cryptocurrency basically. That wasn't that far, and it changes the model and it changes how you operate, but it's just a logical step to do. So.
Well, that was an amazing answer. I know the core, at the core of this project is a utility, right? The use case and the utility that you guys are really driving. So then flip side, obviously there still are a percentage of people who look at crypto projects as more investments or holdings. So how do you guys kind of speak to those individuals from a token level or a token standpoint, and what the benefit of holding that token is as you continue to build up the use case surrounding this project?
Yeah, I can talk around that. So yeah, we are through and through a utility token. Okay, with a real use case. And so in terms of the reflex or taxes, all of that kind of stuff, we don't mess around with that. But we do have a way of rewarding people who are contributing to the network. And we're also going to be being able to, we're going to be having staking down the line as well. But essentially, the benefit for anyone holding the token will be to join us in the success of Timpi and the success of the token. And I'm choosing my words carefully here because we can't say certain words. And do your own research, and this isn't investment advice, etc. Right? But there are a few things that we can show about that are going to be really, really strong for the token. And so when we look at the advertisers who are going to be purchasing the Timpi token to advertise on our platform, we're looking at huge amounts. Okay, so really an individual who's holding the Timpi token is going to benefit from the huge swathes of Timpi being purchased by organizations and being staked by them. We're tapping into organizations who have marketing budgets of hundreds of thousands. And so when they are purchasing ads, that is going into Timpi. That's creating buying pressure. In addition to that, I spoke around how we're not actually creating this bidding war on keyword advertising like Google does, but we're doing that through staking. So organizations who want to have better ad placements will need to stake Timpi. And that means huge amounts of Timpi is going to be staked by these organizations and is essentially taken out of supply. And we all know what that does. It creates huge buying pressure. And so through the utility and of the Timpi token, the people who are early adopters will be in the right position to benefit from these large organizations coming into play.
Bring up a really important point there, Gareth, just with regards to like the corporations or like some VCs getting involved, from like the back end. There's so much potential that you guys have. I don't know if you'd be able to get into a little bit about, some of the partnerships, whether it be marketing or anything that you guys are looking at, just speaking to the level and the seriousness of this project and what you're bringing to the market.
Yeah. So we've got advertising partners that we'll be announcing this week before the IDO starts on the 2nd. So I can't announce them right now, but maybe even by the end of today or tomorrow, then you'll you'll see our advertising partners starting to be announced. And these are people who have committed today to jumping on the platform and will be involved in the IDO and will be purchasing Timpi for advertising. Beyond that, we've, even before IDO, and which is, you don't see this often, is we've developed partnerships in the industry with Flux, which is they are a decentralized database network. Is that what you would call Flux, Jörg? I'm probably using incorrect technical terms here.
It's a cloud provider, so you have computing power through Flux, so you can run your own applications within the Flux network. So decentralized AWS, you can say.
Right, there we go. So they came to us and wanted to partner with us. We're part of their they call them Flux Labs, which is a launchpad incubator, if you like. And we will also be launching our collector and guardian nodes on their marketplace. We need to go and we still need to talk about a bit more about collectors and guardians. Perhaps we can get Jörg to do that after this. Also Zelcore, which is the leading wallet on Kadena. We've partnered with those guys. We've got advertising for Timpi going to be going onto the wallet on a continuous basis. We have Chainrise, which is a marketing company, obviously Darkscope and BT Cyber, who are cybersecurity companies. All of these are partnered with us, and we have many more to come. So let me have a look at my list about what I can share currently. They're kind of marketing ones. So yeah, we're also speaking with 4 other centralized exchanges right now. Again, we can't announce them right now, but post IDO, we'll be able to do that. And we're actually working with a lot of large influencers. So you said at the top of the call, yeah, we had a great AMA with Cameron Bright the other day, who's a Twilight star. He was in X-Men and some other major movies. He's moved into crypto influencing now, and we had a great AMA with him. We've got basketball stars coming into play from Turkey. We've got a major Spanish actor. So yeah, we're getting some major players in terms of marketing, partnerships, and influencers all getting involved in what's happening in Timpi. And what I want to say is in many cases we're not paying these guys, right? They're actually investing in the project and want to see it work. So they've come to us and we've developed real partnerships. This isn't just paying people to shill. These people involved are getting involved in Timpi because they are interested in the project and realize the potential that Timpi has.
I dropped a link to Cameron Bright just so everybody can remember who that was in case they forgot. Good old Canadian actor, got to always give the Canadians a shout out.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are. We are a serious big project, but we understand that we need to do some hype as well, and so I think getting these actors involved will help us get the name out there. And Cameron's a really great crypto influencer. Actually, he's heavily involved in mining, and a big part of Timpi is mining Timpi and being a part of the network. And this is where, as a holder, you can contribute to the Timpi network through becoming a collector or guardian, and actually earn Timpi tokens. So that's another way. I spoke about staking, but also if you want to earn Timpi tokens, then we've set up the ability to mine through collectors and guardians. maybe we can jump into that if that's all right, Maurice, and Jörg can take us through that.
Yeah, it'd be perfect. However you guys think, I mean, because there's a lot of information to unpack. So whatever you guys think is like kind of the best flow to represent the project. Because, I mean, people are still so early. They're going to have a lot of time to follow up and do that question. So with us today, obviously the key pieces are driving people into the Telegram so they get a feel for the community. They're going to continue then interactions, and then allowing them to understand the value of the project long term. And then kind of obviously the key piece is just the chain, because it's going to be a newer one for most. So yeah, let's jump into what you just mentioned and kind of however you guys think the flow should go. We got another hour and 10 minutes at least we can run for. So.
Okay.
Right.
So I can maybe go through the technology part. The aim was always that we want to have the barrier to enter very, very low. So what we came up with is a design where we have so-called collectors. Collectors is basically our crawling engine. That's an application you can run on any system, whether it's Windows, Mac OS, Linux, within Docker, on nearly any system. The main differentiation here from other crypto projects is, or if you run nodes, for example, typically, you don't, for the collector, you do not need a static IP address. You do not need to have the system up and running for 24/7. You as a user can decide how much system resource is used by the collector. You can pause the collector at any time. So I did a video where I explained, look, you can set up schedules, for example, where you can say the system should run, I'm working 8 by 5, I'm not at home from 8 to 5 p.m. That's great. So the collector could basically run on full performance. So you can set up a schedule and the system will do it. But then between 8 p.m. and 10 p.m. or whatever it is, you play, you have a raid in World of Warcraft, and you don't want to get these interruptions. So you say you configure your collector and set up the schedule there that the collector is supposed to do nothing. So you can decide as a user. You don't need to have any pre-configuration things done. You basically download the software, you install the software. That's it. Also, all our communication is completely encrypted, and all the contributors are hidden behind our GeoCore, for example. So GeoCore is another entity I will talk about. So that ensures that we do not put any user at risk for just running our application. The other part of the application is our Guardian. So the Guardian is the storage unit. So, of course, for a search engine, we do need a lot of storage, of course. So the Guardian is basically a contributor who allows us to store the information on their hard disk. For the Guardian, you need to at least have, we at the moment sitting at 500 gigabytes, but we might increase it to a terabyte of storage that you can give us to store the information. But then again, even for the Guardian, you do not need a public IP address. You do not need any port forwarding, any weird stuff you need to configure. It's again, you install the software, and the software will basically do its thing, and then it runs in the background. Again, you have control over it. You can decide what you want to do with it. And so that is our understanding from very low barrier of entry, where we can engage a lot of people. Timpi is meant to be that we want to engage the crypto community, of course, and we want to get support from the crypto community, but we also want to get support from non-crypto people. So, and that's why we lowered the barrier of entry. Because we said, okay, a friend of mine who is just, I don't know, turning 61, I think. So he supports Timpi, but not because he is in crypto, because he believes in the project itself and he thinks it's time for a change. So he has no idea about IT, not a lot at least. So from his point of view, it's perfect. He just installs the software, that's it. So we can engage a lot of people as well. Then we have the GeoCore. So the GeoCore is, you can say, the brain of the solution. The GeoCore coordinates all the connections. It makes sure that the integrity is there. It engages the guardians and the collectors. It also coordinates the AI, and it holds a cache for information which are mostly used. So to give you an example, if you search for computer, for example, on our website, that request goes to the geocore, and the geocore will look in its own cache if it can find information, because people might ask about it in the last 45 minutes. So then we will present this result as a pre-result to the user straight away. The benefit of doing it is that we can show results within 2 milliseconds, 3 milliseconds. It's really, really fast. So, and then if we don't have it in the cache, then we will, the geocore will then engage the Guardian nodes and will run the query on the Guardian nodes. The geocore always knows the closest Guardian node. So for us, the latency is the biggest challenge, because if you have a decentralized network, you don't want to have your data sitting at the other side of the world. So you need to have control over what's the closest point for me to get the information I need. And that's the geocore is taking care of that. So in our testing, what we did so far, and we already have the lab environment where we test and develop, of course. So in our testing, we have an average response time from something around 180 milliseconds for the user to get the result, which is really good. And it's comparable to any other search engine. We also did a performance test on the collector hub. So you can, with one collector hub, you can analyze around 20 million pages per day as a collector. So that's quite a lot. It's really good. So if we think of a collector network of 1,000 users, then you know how many pages we will go through on a daily basis. So we will be able to beat Google even when it comes to the freshness of the information, because we will have so many collectors that we can be nearly real time. So that means if something changes somewhere, it will be on our page straight away. Yep.
Yeah, and that's huge. One of the things I think we need to highlight is that this is built now. Okay, this isn't a project that we're saying we're going to do something. We're doing this now, and we can share some videos of you. In fact, I'll bring it up in a moment, because I think I would like to take you through the some of the images and videos we have of the Collector Hub and the Guardian Hub, and perhaps show a bit around what that means in terms of like a front end user experience in the search engine. But yeah, this is all built out now. We're in beta, and this is a working system. We can it is currently trawling the internet as we speak, collecting data for us, and doing that in a unique way. I was just sharing my screen here. If we look at here's some visuals of some of the items that Jörg was talking around about the collector, and this is just a very simple application that you can run on your system, and you download it, you collect your wallet, you set the parameters for which you want to run and how many workers you want to run, and then you click go, and that's it. And then you start collecting the Timpi rewards, and it will start using your system's utilizing your system's power, like straight away and in the background. It doesn't take a lot. Okay, we're not using a lot of, particularly for the collector, we're not using a lot of compute power. And so what's really nice about our solution is, in terms of the ecological impact, our carbon footprint is minuscule compared to Google. Even when we get to Google's size, it will be minuscule, because the systems that are running our network are already running. So it's not like we've got huge data centers that are drawing loads of power. These are just tiny bits of additional power with computers that are already running anyway. So this can be run it while you're playing games, run it while you're doing design work, run it on your Bitcoin or Ethereum miners' machines. And that's a really great kind of side advantage of our infrastructure that really fits our philosophy as well, because we want to be good to users. We won't be abusing people's data, and we make sure that right through the operations in the business, we're making those ethical choices in to do good by the world and good by people. And yeah, it's really great to be able to do that. So this is the Collector Hub. You'll see Guardian Hub is very similar. In fact, it's the same application. You can just click between Collector and Guardian. You don't have to be a collector to be a Guardian. You don't have to be a Guardian to be a collector, vice versa. The Guardian will take a bit more compute power and space requirements. What are those again, Jörg, for the Guardian?
Yeah, I think it was, so it's 500 gigabytes hard disk, 500 gigabyte hard disk at this stage.
500.
That's the minimum.
So it's still fairly low comparatively to people's systems. And we're going to make this very rewarding for people, comparable to other mining that's out there. And as I said, so people, the Guardian and collectors will be rewarded as part of our revenue. So as we grow, then the rewards grow. And that's why we don't need tokenomics, right? Because the revenue is going to be shared with people who contribute to our network. Now, this is kind of like the fancy backend, right? If essentially, though, what does it all look like? What does it come to? And it comes to the Timpi search engine. So anyone in the world will be and can be using Timpi search engine without having to know anything about crypto. And so, but because of the infrastructure and the design and the decentralized architecture, and the fact that we are actually able to have our own index and influence those algorithms. You know, we always hear about the famous Google algorithms and you know, organizations trying to understand that secret sauce, if you like, in terms of SEO. Well, we've now got our own secret sauce, right? And that's our algorithm. But we're doing some quite special things with this. This is in beta, by the way, so this isn't final design. We're just focusing on functionality at the moment. And there's videos here that you'll be able to look at and see all this working. And beta testing will be open very shortly to, not to public, we're taking applications. But we're able to do quite a few special things. So if you look here in the search results, you can see that Springer.com, for example, is concertinaed up. So if you're searching for a search term computer, you're not going to get a full page of search results that are all from the same domain. We'll categorize them automatically. And then you can click in and out to sort of expand or contract these search results. Well, we're doing this because we're user-centric, okay? So when you search for a term, we want you to get good, accurate, correct, unmanipulated, unbiased data. It's what we're calling a true world view, and that's what we're really after. We're after actually with our algorithms and our interface, creating this true world view of the data and representing that and giving it to the user in a very clear way without any inline ads. So you notice no inline ads here, no other information other than the data you want. Simple. In addition, you'll see these marks here. So because of the backgrounds that we have in cybersecurity, we're actually able to use our AI to provide a cybersecurity rating for websites. And we are the only ones in the world doing that. And so that you don't need to have separate security software to tell you if you're about to jump into a dangerous website. Of course, this isn't going to remove your virus scanner on your computer, no. But it is an extra layer of security for you. And again, we're thinking about the user. Everything we're doing, we're thinking about the user. How can we benefit the user? What do people need? Where are the problems that we're trying to solve in the world? And so this is the extra layer of security to give people an understanding right before they jump into the site, how the level of security. Again, we're the world's first in doing that, world's first decentralized search engine, the world's first to be providing this cybersecurity check. Now, that cybersecurity check is also baked into our algorithm. Okay, so if you are a dangerous website or don't have your security up to snuff, then you will get marked down for that. It's part of over 20 items, 20 elements of the algorithm that are considered. In addition, we've got the review rating as well. And again, that's unique to Timpi. So the review system will be part of the algorithm, and you can only review if you hold a reviewer NFT. And so through the use of the wallet, through the use of NFT, and through the use of our AI, we're able to try and tackle the issues around fake reviews. And so, coming back to this true worldview that we're representing here, it's another really big problem that we're tackling in terms of, just trying to find a good website these days that hasn't got fake reviews, right? And then you find out that the review sites of the fake reviews of the review sites are fake. Well, we're trying to solve that problem to, again, come back to providing information of a real quality and unbiased information to the user. I've rambled on a bit there, Maurice. How are you doing over there?
Man, like I just actually I DM'd you if you saw it, just being like, hey, man, thanks so much for giving us the chance to learn about this one, because I've been enjoying it myself, and I know for our users, you guys typically, I think hopefully our users are picking up on the trend that if I say it's okay to run an AMA a little bit after the typical hours, it's because I think the project's going to be bringing something really unique, really exclusive to the channel that is definitely worth everyone's time to run it a little bit later on the channel side. So we've had a lot of success with the projects that we've brought in, after that 6 p.m. my time, I guess 10 p.m. UTC time slot. And we've been blessed to be able to really learn about bigger projects, because I know you guys in your day-to-day, you have full-time jobs. You guys have, established careers over there. So I think it kind of speaks to, sometimes we get these projects on at night, and it's because the team's working during the day, so we have to engage with them in the later hours. And it speaks to a lot of the times, you guys can see the trends, the professionalism of the teams that we've had in here at these later sessions. AMAs have just been mind-blowing. A few of them pop to the top of my head, and these guys are just definitely kind of showcase all of those aspects. Like I'm blown away, guys. Honestly, it's early, it's a new chain, it's just an amazing opportunity, I think, to learn about the project. You guys have I might actually have to ask you to send over some one or two of your informational videos that I could even post in the comments section for people on our channel who are going to need to reference something to understand how to actually buy and participate in the Kadena IDL, right? So I might even have to bug you, Gareth, for some videos after that I can put up for people to follow along.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we can provide all the information. There's so much information out there. So we've got a lot of tutorials about what Timpi is and what we're doing. I'm just sharing one with you now. I hope you can see that. This is a demo of Jörg showing the actual everything working together in harmony. So how the collector works, how it's collating data, where the information's going, and actually this demo shows a live instance of the data being collected from the web and then being pushed into the search browser. Jörg deleted our full database for this demo. We had it backed up, right? But it's a really interesting demo to show actually if we were to start from ground zero with no results, how would this ecosystem and technology work? And so that's a really great video. I think definitely worth people looking into. And yeah, as I said, we've got a wealth of content about how you can get into KDA, how you can purchase the Timpi token during the IDO with KDLaunch. And if you don't want to, if you can't get into Kadena, then you've got the ETH round 2 that's coming in a few weeks as well. It will be a higher price, and so you will miss out on the opportunity that you've got with Kadena right now over the next week. But as I say, we are opening it up. We want to get a wide reach, and at the end of the day, whilst Kadena is it's an amazing launchpad right now, we can't remove the fact that Ethereum is 300 times larger market cap. But yeah, Kadena is a great place to be launching a project right now. I would say actually the best network to be launching projects on. But if you're not in Kadena, I would advise taking a look at Kadena as well. But I guess I want to highlight, I think sometimes we go into quite a lot of detail about the back end and the architecture and how people can earn Timpi and this collectors and guardians. At the end of the day, what we're doing here is building a very unique search engine that everyone in the world can use. And we've got a very unique way of doing it, and a lot of intellectual property that others can't do. As I said, we're the first people using that blockchain technology that allows us to do some of these cool things that we've been going through. And we believe that it's going to allow us very quickly to start taking market share from some of these monopolies. We ran the numbers the other day, and even at a market share of 0.025, the revenue, the ad revenue alone, just the ad revenue, would be 45 million. Now, if you look at DuckDuckGo, for example, they have what's 0.7%? Is that right?
DuckDuckGo, yep, 0.7.
And
yep.
What's their ad revenue?
DuckDuckGo had managed to get $100 million last year.
Right. Is that profit or revenue?
No, that's revenue. 100. They hit the first time with 0.7%. They hit 100 million revenue, which is 0.7%. So
there's a really unique opportunity in the search engine market right now. And that opportunity is driven by the sheer huge monopoly that Google has. And so the players that are coming into this space do need to have a unique proposition. Timpi has that proposition. And even if we only took a very small percentage, 1%, 2%, 3%, as even 0.5%, this is a huge business. Now, we have ambitions to be surpass Bing, which takes the number 2 spot by end of 23. And that would give us 5% market share.
Yeah, 5%
right,
market share. And Bing does $10 billion a year in advertising revenue.
10 billion, yeah. So we're talking huge numbers here. And with Timpi, we're removing those barriers to entry into the market through our decentralized architecture and through our unique AI and algorithms, being able to really offer a unique proposition for the ordinary user. Timpi is an ethical choice in terms of how we're using data. It's an ethical choice in terms of our carbon footprint. It's a user's dream in terms of usability to not be attacked by adverts and to be able to get real data at their fingertips when they need it. Can you tell I like Timpi?
Well, it's just so amazing, like the potential use case that you guys actually have here. You just said it best. You wanted to essentially battle some of the biggest search engines in the world for market share. And being the first mover in crypto is exciting. I mean, I think it just takes time for people to really understand what you guys are building and understand like how much potential it can really have. I mean, my background's in sales and I haven't used it in a while, but I'll bust it out for this one. You know, the percentage of sales that happen in a first contact are 5 to 6%. Most sales occur after between 12 to 15 touch points with a product or with a brand. And that is specific to purchases under $20. So that's not even like a real buy. That's like a zero committal buy. And it still takes from a, TV commercial, seeing a brand, hearing a jingle, connecting the dots to what that means to you emotionally. It still takes 12 to 15 touch points for people to understand and buy. And that's when the buy is $20 or less. So just think about this project, think about the complexity. It's a newer chain. Obviously, you're going to want to secure a good position on your entry. So there's just a lot for people to take in. And the earlier that you're having the chance to learn about a project like this, the more you can jump in, the more you can speed along those touch points essentially and understand what you're building. And the quicker that happens, the quicker adoption happens. And, word of mouth with a project like this, once people get in and actually see it and speak to it, I think it's going to be really, really interesting to see what, it's still a couple months down the line, what the mid-May looks like for you guys after you go live. So, I mean, for us here at Caesars, it's just getting the chance to learn about a concept like this so early is really quite refreshing. I know we're probably going to get some good questions from our serious investors here on the back end, but I mean, for me, it's just it's tough for me to come to the table with a lot of questions because I'm still even personally just digesting, and I want to make sure, like on my end, I do a good job to understand how you guys are building up. And I think everybody who came in today, honestly, if you don't join the Telegram group after listening to this AMA, I don't know what you're doing in crypto, to be honest.
Thank you.
I think some of the, we've run quite a lot of AMAs, and please go through all the videos that we've got with the other AMAs. And I think something that we perhaps don't highlight because we're so focused on building this, right? And so we come on here and we talk about the passion that we have for doing something that's going to change the world, right? And Timpi has the ability to literally change the world in the way Google changed the world, but in a positive way, having a really good positive impact. What we're doing with Timpi is, and one of the reasons why we wanted to bring this to blockchain is because our philosophy is the same as blockchain. We want freedom, right? We don't want our data being abused by large corporations. We want to have anonymity. We want to have good information at our fingertips and full transparency. This is the ethos of Timpi. This is our philosophy, and it matches blockchain perfectly. So we're just so excited to be able to bring Timpi to the blockchain and start our journey with blockchain customers and the blockchain community. And as part of that, we will also be focusing. We're going to have a crypto mode on our search engine as well, and so we're going to be tapping into blockchain data. We're going to be tapping into CMC API and pulling that data in so that not only can you use Timpi as a everyday browser, but you're also going to be able to have crypto-specific elements because we want to focus on the crypto market first before we go mainstream. Okay, so this is our supporters are going to be coming from crypto space, and so we're going to be doing some really cool stuff for crypto and see what you want in terms of a search engine. A lot of the things that we're looking at implementing now has come from our community that's been growing over the last couple of months. Yeah, this is genuinely a search engine for you that's been run by you. So it's the people that are contributing, and the design is built with you in mind.
Did you come up with this idea? Like, actually, like how long ago did you think? I mean, crypto as a whole, or DeFi, I guess, has been around for years now, but obviously the adoption is still really lagging. But with your background, Jorg, how did you first kind of brainchild this one and come? Like, for me, that for me is just really going to be an exciting story to learn about, because obviously you've got a phenomenal background.
Yeah. So look, blockchain was I always went into blockchain and had a look at it with my security background. It's just blockchain is just something you have to know. From a search engine point of view, and how I thought why Timpi is necessary is, if you look at the big players, it's not only that they sell your information, and that's worth enough. So they track you, they know about your likes and your dislikes. So if you search for something, you know how it works. At the next web page, you will find an advertisement which is based on what you searched before. And personally, I find that very annoying. And there must be a better way. And I don't like to be tracked, and I don't like to have my information out there. So for Google, we are not Google's users or customers. We are basically Google's commodity. We are their product. And that's what really annoys me a lot. And it's with all the others, it's the same. So if we look at Bing, they do the same. But Google is just the biggest player here, so I'm using Google. But we are not, and people need to realize that we are not Google's customers. We are not Google's users. We are their product. That's how they made, I think in last year, they made something like $270 billion on revenue. Something really ridiculous high, and that's only because of us, because they track us as a user through their ad network. So that was, and with my security background, look, I like to keep my privacy secure. I like to keep a low profile when it comes as a normal user. I don't want to be tracked. I don't want people or businesses using my information to their advantage. So that's one part of the story. The other part of the story, if I control 95% of what people see, I can make them see what I want them to see. So that we have seen that in the past. We have seen that Google is biased. Whether it's, some election, whether it's something what's going on in Europe right now, but also what happened in Europe in 2014 again, we do see that Google is biased. So they will show us always what they think it's best for them. So that means they only show us something what benefits Google in this area, and that's all around it. If you look up for a computer, the first web page is either way advertisement, or it is paid ranking. There's no real picture of the world out there when it comes to anything you search for on Google. So you have to pass the first couple of pages to get maybe the real result. My missus, so my lovely lady, she did a test the other day where she was looking for something, and she knew there is a web page, only one web page here in New Zealand, who supports or who provides what she was looking for. There's one web page only, but they have it. So if she uses Google, this web page does not come up because it's a small web page. Look, it's a lady who does something aside. She's self-employed and does it in her free time. So great. So it's not a big page. It's not big money behind it. She probably doesn't do any advertisement. Her page did not come up in New Zealand. Amazon came up. So on Google, you look in New Zealand for something it's available in New Zealand, and you get shown Amazon or eBay and stuff like that, and shops somewhere else because it's not available anywhere else in New Zealand. So that's what really annoys me and annoys the people I talk to when it comes to, we want to have the real view. We want to know, if I look for something, I want to have it unbiased, unfiltered. I want to create my own opinion because I'm a grown-up man. I can make up my mind. But for that, I need to see the information. And that's what gets hidden right now by the big players. They have the monopoly, so they can hide, prioritize, and do whatever they want. And there's no one at the moment who basically can stop them, or, there's no alternative. And that's why I had the idea of a decentralized engine, search engine, a couple of years ago when I created the Darkscope artificial neural network, which is a decentralized search engine for cyber intelligence. So I already built something like that. It's just now bringing it to the large market, to everyone, and making a search engine out of it. So I'm baffling along with it as well. Very long. Oh, sorry, talking too much. But
well, you know what, you're like, just when you talk about it like that, and I hope other people hearing this feel the same way as I do as well. But I get angry, like when you were talking through that, like inside of me, I was just like so pissed off about the situation where these large organizations can actually do that with our data and just show us what they want to show us and manipulate the data and use our data. I mean, it's insane. It's just insane that that's happening, and it's insane that no one else has stepped up to the plate and wanting to actually do something as well. And that's what we're doing. It drives me mad that there's just this thing in the world where people are accepting that this is happening. It's insane.
Yeah.
It gets me really angry. So I just one of the things, I know we've spoken a lot around a few points over the last sort of quarter of an hour. I think one of the things that I want to bounce back to, and I've just made a note here, is like, Maurice, you keep on, you're emphasizing like the sheer scale of this, and this is a huge undertaking, right? So I want to emphasize how huge this is. So after our IDO, after our full IDO, after the round 2 with ETH, we're aiming for a market cap of 4.5 million. Currently, with the after round 1, it's at a fraction of that. Now, for a project like this, with a market cap after 2 rounds, or just around 4.5-5 million, it will be. That's tiny, and we've done that because we want to represent value. We believe that we can get this get this to a 1 billion market cap, and we've got the backing, and we've got the project, and we've got the technical skills, and the team, and the partnerships, and everyone's supporting us in order to do that. And I see the 1 billion being thrown around sometimes. I see people like hyping about the 100 million. I think 100 million is very easy for us. 100 million is not a success for us. We want to surpass that, and I believe we've really got the team to do that. So yeah, there's huge upside for people if they want to get in early. And as I said, the opportunity starts in a couple of days' time on the Kadena network. And yeah, we're pretty excited about what we're getting into here.
No, I know it's tough because normally for me, I have a few more questions. I mean, I've asked a couple in terms of like the ecosystem and how the token fits in, and then benefits to holder, a bit of the chain explanation. But for me, the idea is just so incredible. And I mean, the way you guys speak to it, it has me excited. I mean, to some extent, you have to be able to kind of listen to a concept and get behind the team and try and really put their vision into perspective. So, I mean, you guys do an amazing job at positioning this project. For me, again, as well, I said that educational aspect, and that's why I'm trying to push everybody to really, at this point, just join your Telegram channel, because you guys have so much information available on your website. I know you guys have your YouTube channel. You guys have a ton of pinned information that is readily available for people just to jump in and kind of check out themselves. So obviously, being a project with this much complexity, I know you guys have really taken the educational aspects seriously. So like it's got me really excited, man. Like it's hard to contain my excitement for a project like this. Everyone's always asking us to bring them new chains. Everybody's asking us to bring them, the next big project, the next big, moonshot. And this is, in terms of future potential, definitely what you could consider a moonshot but by no means is the rollout going to be one that you would see in like a traditional, moonshot project that doesn't really offer that utility. Is all based on hype and FOMO. You guys are really basing the project on use case in the real world, and the fact that you guys are putting it towards like different sets of investors that doesn't have the saturation yet in those markets. Let's say that's the best word for it. You guys really are going to kind of open up a good piece on a new chain. And then not only that, speaking about like the actual search component with Bing and Google and stuff that you mentioned as well, the valuations of that market is insane. So if you can bridge crypto that's, projected to be close to $10 trillion market in the next like year or two, and then what you're doing already, and with your backgrounds, it's just, how can you not get excited at least about the idea to hear it in a Telegram call, and it's 2 months away from launch almost, or a month and a half away from launch. So
we've got a very unique proposition here. So no one else is doing what we're doing, and we're not just talking about it. As I say, we're building it. Right, this is happening now. It's not a pipe dream. This is actually happening, and we're building it. And we believe we've got everything in place to be one of the biggest projects in crypto. And in addition, one of the biggest companies in the world. Now, even if we reach a small fraction of our ambition, this is still a huge proposition, right? But we have everything in place with global experts and partners and teams and influencers who are all supporting us. One of the things that I didn't mention earlier, actually, I forgot to mention, is that our marketing team actually has experience in specifically moving over people from monopolies into new spaces. And actually, the guy that we brought on through our partnership with Chainrise has worked for Google Marketing in the past. Like I say, he knows how they work. He knows the space very well. I'm so stoked to be, not only working with Jörg and his experience, but also our team experience. We've got sales and marketing people who have had many years experience. Jonathan, for example, who's our sales and marketing director, has worked for Oracle for a number of years. We've got Sarah, who's a PR expert, and we're going to be pushing a PR for Timpi a lot, okay? Because we want to, we're going to be doing hype things, but it's about getting the name out globally, so everyone in the world knows about us. And Sarah's got, has connections with TechCrunch and BBC and Forbes. So all the big hitters we're connected to through our team. And we're definitely going to be utilizing everything we have on all our connections to get Timpi flying. I actually don't think there's a better, of course I'm biased right now, but in terms of proposition, uniqueness, first to market team, we tick every box. We do tick every box. We're fully doxed, we KYC'd directly with the Kadena network.
Man, like there's so many things, and like I said, probably the second or third biggest information package I've ever been sent when I'm doing these initial information discoveries. So that right there just got me pretty excited, right? Just seeing that, seeing how much you guys have done, seeing some of the partnerships, your influencers, from like those basketball players you touch on, some celebrities. I know you guys have some partnerships that people should actively follow the channel to learn about there in the future. So we'll open up obviously some questions. I did have a couple people who I know have thrown their hand down. That PCI, I know you had a question. Willie, I know you had a question. There weren't a ton. I think Benga had a question, but like you guys, it's a lot of information, and I think people are just. I mean, personally, I'm blown away by what I've heard. Almost want to see if Phantom wants to throw his hand up there. I mean, he's been telling me about another chain he's been really loving lately. when we chat. So maybe he'll have some feedback. But I mean, it's hard to pick any holes in what you've put forward. It's more of just a join and understand and really learn about the network, and then you're going to see the vision even more.
Yeah, and I don't want to portray that we're an overly complex project. I think, but behind the scenes, we've got this architecture that people can contribute to and start earning Timpi and getting reward and mining, right, through the collectors and guardians. And there is some complexity there, but at the end of the day, like, our core message is we're a new search engine that gives people an ethical choice between what they're doing. Not only is it an ethical choice that you're going to be making using the Timpi search engine, but from a user perspective, we're giving you the data, real genuine data. So, there is this complexity to Timpi for sure. But at the front end, we're a search engine, and we're a search engine that's going to have the truest data in the world and the most user-friendly interface, which actually shows you real data and not throw adverts in your face. So from that perspective, it's a simple concept. But then, of course, there's layers and more layers of complexity as you get down. And if you want to be a user of Timpi, great. Please jump onto the Timpi browser and start using us. If you want to mine Timpi, then jump on board and get involved in what we're doing with the Collected Guardians and GeoCore. If you run an organization and you want to advertise with us, please purchase Timpi, get it staked, and you'll have really unique advertising opportunities, especially within the crypto space. Within the crypto space, there's really there's not many good opportunities for advertising in crypto, and the opportunities out there are very expensive, and so we're providing a solution to that as well.
So I called on him. We're going to get him in here for our first question. What's up, Phantom?
Hi, Phantom.
He's been Mr. New Chain, so I had to get him in here for this one.
Hello.
So are you on Kadena, Phantom?
He's been telling about.
I'm in a little bit of everything. I'm so new to crypto that I wanted to dip my toes into everything. Like literally everything. So I have like Cardano wallets from an actual Cardano wallet. I can't remember the seat. It's like Cardo wallet or something. And then like I have it, on my Math wallet and a bunch of other like chain wallets. I have a bunch of wallets because I just wanted to learn it. And Cardano is one of them. So is Solana and various other chains. There's just everything about crypto is so fascinating and how it functions and how it works that it's just the information is so overwhelming. I can't stop learning. Yeah, it's like it's the new book.
Yeah.
So, I like
Cardano. This space is that we're all learning together, right? Even people.
Everything's so new
in the industry for years. We're still learning because it's changing every day. And
exactly. So, really, like I had a question and it kind of got answered with kind of just your guys' layout. However, your AMA, you guys had so much information. It was like I couldn't even keep up with writing it down, so I had to just stop.
Well,
and
I
focus.
have like a page and a half of notes over here.
I was just like I got to go back and look at this and look at that, and understanding the advertisement side of everything that you've been talking about for like the last 20 minutes is like it's just insane to realize that we could be a part of that new Google or that new Bing or whatever, search engine stock. Cause I remember, and I kid you not, I remember in the newspaper looking and I remember seeing Google at like 13 cents a share and reading, we're going to license the ability to use Yahoo and all these guys as our search engine. And I read, and I look over at my cousin, I said, that's the future right there. Instead of them searching pages, they're going to search a few pages that's already searched the pages. I was like, they're skipping steps. And so like being into an infancy of possible the next search engine of the blockchain, is an opportunity that you don't get every day. And if it's done right, which the layout looks very user friendly, and that's really what matters. If anybody can just get in and it be hands-free without someone being like, here, I need to show you how to do this and do that, it makes it so much easier to adopt as the new, like I hate Bing because I don't understand how to use it very well. But Google, everybody understands because it's just so easy and user-friendly, So that's always been like, the competitors in any other search engine, that's their problem is they just didn't Google it enough. They didn't do the Google enough. Any search engine that's making it or anything that's making it in that space is using Google's API in the background because they did it right. So long as you do it right, which it looks really good, all now we have to do is just, at the future tell and people user playing it, or adoption basically. So really and an investor like me, I'm not a rich guy. So if I come in with like $1,000, would I be able to reasonably see some, monthly ROIs that would allow me to really feel comfortable having my money, like in some type of mining? Because that's what I'm looking at. I got a really nice computer, and you were talking about it only uses minimal amount. So if I can multi-node it, I can get a lot out of my little machine because I got an expensive machine. So I was just looking at like ways I can maximize my profit, but also helping the ecosystem. If that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think first off, it's great that you're seeing this huge potential here, right? Because we don't always get it across, and I think you've picked up on there.
Multiple. Thanks.
Okay, no worries. I think you've picked up on there that once the advertising kicks off, this is gonna fly, and that's where you go, oh shit, I should have bought Google at 13 cents. And it's not only gonna fly to the extent that you see the hype projects, like it's going to be bigger than that because there's going to be swathes of organizational funds coming into it. Now, so putting that aside, just wanted to have another pitch there, right? The opportunities around the Collector and Guardians, absolutely, you'll be able to download it onto your system and start earning Timpi straight away. Once we're going live, I think, Joe, I'll hand over to you if you can talk a bit about give some more detail around system requirements, and then also the dates for the beta and live release.
Yep. So system requirements starts for the collector. You just need a Windows, Linux, or Mac OS machine. It should have 4 gigabytes of RAM and 4 cores on the CPU side. A fast internet will help, but it's not necessary. So you can run it on any internet connection you want. And it's not necessary for you to have it run 24/7. But of course, it will be beneficial as the collector gets basically tokens for the amount or the number of pages it analyzes. So if you have a fast internet connection and if you have the collector run 24/7, you are able to go through more pages per day, and that will allow you to collect more tokens, right? So, but it's not a must-have. It's not a must-have. So for the Guardian, that's our storage node. We're looking at 500 gigabytes of storage for the Guardian. We are thinking of increasing it to 1 terabyte minimum. But you can basically then give us 10 if you have. So 10 terabytes, no problem whatsoever. Memories-wise or system memory-wise, we're looking at 8 gigabytes of RAM. And we're looking at a 6-core minimum. So you can run it on a virtual machine, for example, and you can assign 6 cores to it. It's plenty, but it's minimum 6 cores. Internet connectivity should be quite good. So you need to have something like 50 Mbits downstream. That would be sufficient. And it needs to be, or it should be online 24/7. So that's basically the technical details about what it is we do.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. That actually is real reasonable because I'm working on. I have the 3264 AMD processor, so the new 5 series. So I'm good there, and I got 32 gigs of RAM. and I've got a couple of terabytes of SSDs, and I have a 3070 graphics card overclocked. So I mean, there's no problem on the horsepower side of things. So my other question is, can I run? No. Oh, internet's B2 gig speed, man. Like you can't do nothing besides that. Yeah, you gotta have. Well, it's like 900 and something. You know, they say gig, but it's never really gig. But that's another question. Anyway, so my question is, can I run multiple nodes, or can I run both of those at the those different? Like what can I maximize my system onto your system? Like let's say I'm gone for a weekend, because I do construction, and sometimes I'm gone out of town for a few days. Can I just set it up, turn it on, make sure everything's good, tell my wife to watch it, and just have it maximally running for 24 hours for a weekend, and then obviously run it all the time, but I can slow down my speed a little bit if I want to get on it or anything like that?
Yes, you can run the Collector and the Guardian at the same time on the same system, no problem whatsoever. And you can set up, so the biggest hit on system resources is the Collector. If you ramp up the Collector uses so-called workers. So one worker does a domain after a domain. So it gets a domain list, and then it works off this domain list. So you can run unlimited number of workers. In our last performance testing, we did 400 workers at the same time. And it took 60% CPU load and 3 gigabytes of RAM for all these workers. So you can ramp it up as you wish. Yes, you can schedule it. And now I tell you the best part. If you like and if you want, you can access the configuration remotely. So if you like and want to have a view on it, you can go from anywhere. You can access it completely remotely, and you can configure your Collector while you are not at home, if you like.
Oh, okay. So like if like my plans change or just something, whatever, if I want to turn it down, I can like have the app on my cell phone or whatever, and just do and change it from. Oh my God, that's beautiful.
Change it completely remotely. So
I just love how much work you've guys done before you guys are like pulling it all out, because I mean you get some good projects out there that've done a lot, but I mean you guys is just like, it's like you guys just overdid it, like overkilled to make sure you guys crossed it. That's what I'm saying. They crossing their T's, dotting their I's, and then they went and got it proofread. You know what I mean? That's like, it's amazing. Like you don't get that every day. So I'm very glad that even though it's something I'm not too familiar with, the Cardano side yet, it's something I'm glad to have been being exposed to.
Thank you.
It's amazing.
We really wanted to show everyone that we mean business. And when we first went out to the market, there was skepticism, because people are like, this is huge. Like, how can you do this? This isn't possible. What are you doing? And so we were like, right, well, we'll just show you, And so now we're in a position that we're saying, look, we're doing it. It's done. It's happening. We're ready. It's already built. And so now people don't ask that question. So, whether it's legit or not, or whether it's actually possible. Now people see that it's possible.
Yep.
Well, no, thank you. Appreciate it. Really, the node or the mining stuff was really, the collector and stuff was really my main question. So I really appreciate it. And the launch and all that was covered. That was my other question. So, and then obviously I know it's makes sense. So yeah, everything is. Yeah, I got a lot to read. So.
I knew you'd like this one, Phantom. I knew this one would be for you.
It's like a book. Like it's never gonna end.
That's why I love this job so much, because it's I get to meet these amazing teams and learn about these projects. And just I worked in sales, and I used to tell people education was more important than me for the money. And my managers would be like, "The heck's wrong with you? You're in sales." And I'm like, "Okay, well, if I'm not learning anything, like I'm gonna be happy with the money for about 6 months. I'm gonna want to leave." So
yeah.
Awesome. So we'll get Willie up here. I know PCI. We'll get you in as well, PCI. We got Franklin. We got Gats. What's up, Willie?
What's up? All right. Thanks, Maurice. Okay. So my question for you guys, obviously, very complex computer stuff going on way over my head individually. I do have a cousin that does network engineering. I have an uncle that does information security stuff. So I guess my question, working for a large is what kind of safety features do you guys have going on the back end for malware, phishing stuff, like website links that could pop up through your servers that you guys can kind of keep from getting onto your platform?
Yeah, that's a good one. So with our cybersecurity rating, we check every web page for weaknesses and for things that could put the user at risk. So it's basically we rate every page, and that's unique in the market, and it's about my background in cybersecurity and information security that I want to. Don't filter these results out, but at least give the ability to the user to identify these pages. And of course, so we do have checks and balances in place, so no one can manipulate the collector and send us wrong content. For example, there was one question in one AMA: how do we prevent that someone sends us the wrong content? And that will then go into the database. That's not possible. We have check and balances in place. So that's the GeoCore, as I said initially. That's our brain. Our brain engages a lot of AI and machine learning power to identify stuff that is out of the ordinary and that get picked up. So everything is, when it comes to security itself, encrypted. As I said, the connection or the whole network is hidden. So the collectors and the guardians are never been shown publicly or accessible publicly. They don't have to have anything publicly available for us for them to contribute to our network. So that adds another layer of security. As we all know, if we run some nodes in cryptocurrency in some projects, you have to have a public IP address, and you have to allow connections coming into your network, and that's all. We don't need that. It's completely without that, so that adds a lot of security as well. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, I mean it's stuff that's like way over my head, but like just like spitballing stuff with them because, you know, like I said, they do it for some large corporations and stuff like that. So I was just curious.
Yeah, no, sure. Cool question. Thank you.
So is that like is that those things that's basically like you guys are running like a bunch of different searches, and then whatever would pop up in your search browser, all those things that come already been looked at by you guys, then type of deal?
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, you can say that. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I kind of figured at the end of the day I was getting at. Thanks, man.
Cool. Thank you.
Awesome. So we'll get PCI up, and then we'll try Frank and Gats. Hopefully we can get all the questions in. I know I had got another AMA coming up in 5 minutes, but I want to make sure we get a few more in because it's just such an impressive project here, guys. Like I'm really blown away. I think most of our users are. So PCI, go ahead, and then we'll get Gats unmuted, and we'll try Franklin unmuted too. We'll see how many as we can get in the next 5-6 minutes. What's up, boys?
Hey, guys.
Hey.
PCI.
Thank you for having me, Maurice. So I don't know that sure if this topic was touched already, but do you plans to promote your browser, like your search into like a browser in specific? Like let's say like a new one, like I don't know.
Yeah, I can maybe take that. So yes, so what we are looking at is, and that's where we look into working with someone like Brave, and get us integrated into Brave, for example, as the browser. But we are also looking into releasing our own browser, which then allows us to combine features which we can have on our Timpi platform, which will then be integrated into the browser platform as well, features and add-ons. So yeah, we are looking into also having our own browser. It will not be at release date end of this year, probably, but we will see. We are at the moment in the design phase for the browser part and identifying the requirements. So it's a, you know, we work with a normal development lifecycle process. Even though we are agile, we start with a normal software development lifecycle process where we look into the design and the requirements and the feature set and stuff like that. And once we have that, we start building. So that's where we at right now with that.
Yeah, if I just add to that, so we will work on any browser, right? So we're not any browser that you're using, you can use Timpi. What the next stage is getting is then working with those browsers to have Timpi in their preferred list, and so that's one of the steps that we're going to be taking through our partnerships. And also something that we haven't touched on, or we've only touched on very briefly, is our API licenses. So people like DuckDuckGo, for example, will be a customer of. Sorry, I'm not saying we haven't confirmed that. We are hoping in the future will be a customer of ours who will take our API licenses and actually show our data in their search results. So there's another avenue there where we'll be sharing our data. The browser definitely in our roadmap. It's actually one of the easiest parts of what we're doing is to have our own browser. So it'll be definitely be coming, and that's when we start building out this ecosystem as well. We're going to be having Timpi emails, which I wasn't going to announce today, but I've just done it. So there's an exclusive for Caesar there that we will be doing Timpi email in the same way as Google. And as we build out this infrastructure, you'll see the browser. We've got the search engine. We'll have the browser. We'll have the email coming into play. So in a very similar way that you've seen Google build over, its years, we'll be doing the same, but in a decentralized way.
All right, thank you. Yeah, because I don't know if you have noticed, but when you open for the first time Brave, and you go to the search, the searching tab, it shows you the most common search base websites, right? So it will be awesome to promote it, so it could be included on that tab.
Yeah, we are going to talk to Brave and so on. Yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, mate.
Thanks, PCI. Go ahead if you want, Gats. I don't know if you're still. There we go, bud. It'll have to be the last question. I told Steve's from the other project we'd start at 8:05, so we'll just get you in, Gats.
Hey.
I know you've been waiting.
Oh,
Hey,
then,
hey, Maurice, how's it going?
Good. What about you?
Yeah, pretty good, thanks. Just kind of attending this AMA. Great information session. I can truly appreciate the amount of education that you've kind of provided here, especially for somebody like myself who's trying to explore some of these other chains. I've only recently been on, with Caesars, some of the Chronos plays. Got that network, which I have transacted on the FDM network in the past as well. So Kadena would be something totally new, right? But I do understand some of the technical stuff behind it. It is a proof of work network. I can see why you guys chose it, just considering the speed of the network. Now, just kind of going through this presentation, I understand that, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here. And I'm really thinking from a token, like a value proposition, really. So you have the collectors, which is basically the web crawler component. Did I get that right? Yep. And the guardians are basically the storage component, right? This is where you'd need that additional hard disk space, and you'd be storing data that would be encrypted.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And you guys also, in terms of the wider audience, you have the user base that's going to be using the decentralized web browser, right? And you have the miners as well as any of the organizations that want to advertise that be purchasing the Timpi tokens. Did I get that right?
Yeah, so we have the website, the search website, which is a normal website that runs on Chrome or on any browser. So that's the normal website, like Google.com. It's then our Timpi website, and that's where normal users without any crypto background can search. So everyone can basically search.
Okay, that's good. So in terms of the most value, I'm really trying to think of how most of the value would be made from an end user slash investor. Is it from staking, like, or you know, or some will choose to be miners or collectors or guardians? Where do you think that, you know, the most value really lies in those three components?
So in our modeling, we've focused on the utility and the setting a business structure and that utility structure for growth. Okay, so there are opportunities to, you know, earn Timpi through mining, and that's going to be rewarding. But you know, unlike a reward token, for example, you know, we're not. We're just not that. We're not that proposition, okay? We're not a reward token. You don't get rewarded just for holding the token, because ultimately that ends in tears for projects, right? So the value in holding Timpi is in the growth of the business, okay? So, and I need to be careful what I say, right? Because of, you know, regulations and saying in words like investment. I want to stay clear of that, right? But essentially, we've created a model where the utility is such that the revenue being generated is being generated in the token, and through the advertising platform and engaging with very large organizations and the traditional business world, there's going to be a huge amount of purchases being made, and we know what that does to the value of the token. And in addition to that, then we're also creating an environment and incentivizing organizations to stake Timpi, which is going to be taken out of supply. And we're a fixed supply, so there's never going to be more than 200 million tokens. And so we've got this system where we're creating this huge opportunities for organizations to buy large amounts of Timpi. We're incentivizing them to stake large amounts of Timpi and be taken that out of supply. And so as a holder of Timpi, you can see that you're going to benefit from the development of Timpi in itself as that ad platform builds out. And that is in addition to what you said, like, yes, you can also mine it through the collectors and Guardian hubs, and there will be staking opportunities as well. But I would say that's actually very small. It's similar to other projects, but actually very small to just being part of Timpi's growth.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, I appreciate that answer. Thanks. I can totally see that. You know, the overall goal that you're trying to achieve here is just giving users the ability to really search the web without any kind of restrictions or data manipulation, right? Especially in this age where our personal information is super crucial. Yeah. So I can totally appreciate the angle that you guys are coming at. But thank you for that answer. I'll pass it along.
Awesome. So I hate to kind of wrap this up short, but I mean, you guys have been amazing to highlight so much information. We got to steal you away for almost 2 hours now. I know we were a little bit delayed kicking it off, so it's like officially an hour 45 or so. But first off, want to thank you guys for giving us a great technical overview of what Kadena as a chain looks like to everybody in the channel, because I know even myself, before coming across this project, had not been super familiar with the chain before. Probably heard it once or twice in passing and didn't know what it was, to be 100% honest with you. And actually getting to learn about the use case value of what you're bringing in that chain, it really has me excited. And obviously, like, you guys have your first IDO on the 30th, and then you guys have the second round on the April 30th, and that's going to be the Ethereum IDO, and then the scheduled launch at this point is going to be May the 7th. So guys, just really, if you think about projects that we've seen that I was really, really bullish on early, and I mean, we have one coming on right next for our next AMA in terms of how they approached us and actually how far they were away from launch. You guys are still a month and a half almost away from that official launch date and still have so much already built, and it's just really amazing to hear about. So I'll pass it over to you for closing statements, but I got to say, like, again, it's a pleasure to get to learn about these unique and kind of first mover projects on different chains. And I just thank you guys so much for taking so much time and obviously putting together one of the most detailed presentations for the channel. So guys, thank you so much, and obviously pass it to you for closing statements before I finalize the recording there.
Okay, I will maybe go first. Yeah, so thanks for your time. It's amazing. And look, we would love you to join us on this journey. I think we have a really great opportunity here to create an alternative to how web search is done today, and in a more open and a more people-driven way. So yeah, join us on this journey. Thank you.
Yeah, and yeah, likewise, Maurice, thanks for hosting us today. It's been great to talk to you about it, and thank you for giving us so much time to explain everything. That's been really great. If we could, there's some details that you said you'll post. It'd be great if you could sort of post some of the details around how to get into Kadena and on your channel. That'd be great. It's a really good opportunity to jump into Kadena right now. If you're fed up with what's going on in Binance and all the scams and all the crap happening there, then you'll be pleasantly surprised with the communities and what's happening in Kadena space right now, because it's a great space to operate in. And so yeah, I just like to thank everyone, and please join our community. Join the IDO, which is registration is in 2 days time, and then the allocations on Kadena will start in 3 or 4 days time. So jump in on that. It's the best opportunity right now on that you'll have on this journey. And we'd like to come back here as well, I think. So we'll come back here and give you all an update and run another AMA after our first round, and we'll also do the same after round 2. So we'll see each other in a few weeks' time, Maurice.
Yes, sir. And hopefully by then, the whole channel is going to jump into our research on Kadena, and we'll be a couple of experts we'll be grilling you on the chain next time.
Nice.
Cool.
Awesome.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, guys. I'll circle back with you for some of those videos, and I think what I'm going to do is maybe try and get Caesar and convince him to do a dual VC one night and have it like a chain education night, and just break down how to add new chains to your wallet and that type of thing. It'll be fun. So I'll definitely need some support from you guys for some videos for that.
Yeah, happy to support that. We can get our pack developers there to help with that. And yeah, anything you need, I think that sounds a great idea. So yeah, hit me up and we can get that organized.
Awesome. So that was